What is up, guys? Ivan here, coming at you today on behalf of getivan.com. I'd like to welcome you to my SEO keyword research guide. So I'm going to be doing keyword research live here on the video, going through these various bullet points, and by the end of it, you will know how to perform quality keyword research. So let's get right into it. Let me go ahead and make a copy of this tab, and I'm going to try to do everything within this tab. Sometimes the camera is going to flash on and off when I click off. Let's go through the bullet points first, and then we'll get into the actual programs. So first and foremost, you need a Google Ads account with a valid payment method. So go online and sign up for a Google Ads account. Just type in Google Ads, see if you can find a promo code. They'll usually give, it's been a while, since I've signed up for an account, but I think they give $150 in promotional monies for people who sign up. It might be $75 now, I'm not sure. And you can get even up to $300, I think, through other promotional special deals that companies run through Google Ad partnerships and all that business. So don't obsess over it, but do find some sort of promotion, because it is useful when you're first starting out. They're going to have you put in your payment method. Even if you're not ready to create an ad, go ahead and do that. And then once you're in the back end, you can just turn the ad off, and then you won't be paying for it, So they'll have you set up an ad, then they'll have you put in your payment information, your credit card information or whatever. Go ahead and go through that process. But you will need to be paying for an ad in order to use the Google Keyword Planner properly. And so that's the second bullet point here. In order to get more precise search volume, instead of ranges of searches per month, you have to be paying for an ad to some degree, and 50 cents a day is recommended. So 50 cents a day is $15 a month. It's not very much. I'm not sure if that's the minimum. I'm not really sure what the minimum is. That might be the minimum you can pay for an ad, but that's what I have done for a while in my one of my Google Ads accounts that I use for keyword research. Excuse me. So I recommend doing 50 cents a day, and then you will get access to the exact search volume, relatively exact, right, per month for the keywords. Otherwise, they'll give you ranges like 10 to 100 searches a month or 100 to 1,000 searches a month. And so if you don't really care about that, then you can just skip that step and you can just get the ranges. Once you've done that, though, you've got your ads account, your Google Ads account, you set up your Google ad, and the Google ad that you set up doesn't matter. It's totally up to you. You can send it to your business. You can do a display ad. You can do an ad in the search index. You can do a YouTube ad. You can do a pay-per-call ad. It doesn't matter, just as long as you're paying for an ad to some degree in order to get the search volume. So once you've done that, you can go to the keyword planner in the Google Ads backend and do a search using your core keyword, then add up to 10 additional keywords, or up to 9 additional keywords from the results. So 10 keywords overall right now. You may also include up to one URL of a web page related to your topic of interest. So you can do up to 10 keywords, and then you can do a web page that's related to that topic you're trying to get good keywords for, and Google will look at that page and provide results based on the page. Make sure you are targeting the correct location. So if you're targeting if you want to know the search volume for a specific city, you have to be targeting a specific city. If you want to be targeting the US, you have to be targeting the US, and so on and so forth. To my knowledge, the default is English in the United States. So national in the US in the English language. That's the default, I believe. You may be able to change that somewhere. But every time I load up the page, that's always what it is by default. And the majority of keyword research that I perform is US in English. Once your compilation is to your satisfaction, you will be ready to export the data to a CSV file. You can then take that file and upload it into a spreadsheet program like Google Sheets, which will allow you to organize and better utilize your keyword research. I provide a pre-formatted template of which I recommend you make use. This data is useful for creating a long-term strategy around or for your content. So if the copy on this page changes at any time, obviously you want to take that into consideration, and hopefully it'll be self-explanatory. I'll add other sections and maybe other videos if I need to add anything else. I'm thinking about, certain other bonus things that I'd like to add to this, so keep your eye out for that on this page, okay? Let's get right into it, though. Let's go ahead and navigate to my keyword planner account. Here we go. Oh, let me make sure to save this draft here. There we go. Let's go to my keyword planner account. Excuse me. It might be a little laggy because these Google assets pick up a lot of RAM in the browser. So let's give it a moment to load. So in order to get to this place, you just have to go up to Tools and then go to Keyword Planner here. There's a lot of other stuff here. You're welcome to spend your time, perusing all this business. That's more PPC related, of course. But here you've got 2 bullet points here in the Keyword Planner section. Let's take a look at search volume and forecasts first, and then we'll take a look at find new keywords. This is not included in my guide, but it's a little neat tool that I wanted to briefly touch on because I believe that you can use it really well for planning. Let's take a look at what's a generic niche that we can look at. Let's do something in plumbing, I guess. So let's do, well, that's kind of a local one. Do I really want to do plumbing? Yeah, let's just do plumbing. Let's do plumbing with localization, and I'll show you the difference here. So let's say plumbing is a keyword, and let's say plumber, and those are probably going to be under the same term. Let's do plumber, Fort Worth, Texas, plumber, Arlington, Texas. Let's do plumbing supply, plumbing services, plumbing services, Fort Worth, Texas, Fort Worth, plumbing services. Oops. And let's just leave it at that. We could go all day doing this kind of thing. Let's get started here. So let me move my camera up here so that it's not quite as distracting. There we go. So what it's done here is it's included all of these in a single ad group. So this has more to do with PPC. And this would be a topic for another guide. So in this particular ad group, what the program typically does, unless I'm mistaken, is it'll cycle through all these keywords and it'll try to auto-optimize this entire ad group for the most efficient keyword. And that's why when you look up here, it says 28,000 clicks, because it's combining all of these projected clicks. So it's basically telling us, based on the metrics they've collected over a long period of time, this is about how many clicks you can expect to get at $2 a click, based on 1.6 million impressions, in the United States. And you can expect to spend $55,000 with a daily budget of roughly $5K. So it's a rather broad targeting, right? We're targeting the U.S. up here, as you can see, and so we could change that, and we could get ourselves a little more. Actually, let's go ahead and change that just out of curiosity. Let's target Fort Worth, Texas. That's where I live, and so I like to use that in tests and videos and what have you from time to time. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and save this target. We don't want to target the US. Let's X this out. Let's save this targeting for Fort Worth. Let's target Arlington also. Arlington. A little bit laggy. There we go. So let's give it a second. So this is saying we can expect to get roughly 9,000 impressions, and from those impressions, 160 clicks, with a 1.8% click-through rate on those impressions. Costs us roughly $300 per month with a daily budget of $11. Average CPC at 1.87. So it's kind of the same here as it was at the national level, actually. But, Fort Worth and Arlington are major cities. And so we can see that some of these terms that I put in, they're saying don't expect to get many impressions or any impressions or clicks from some of these terms. And that's why this tool, this keyword planning facet, I can't even remember what this forecast section is pretty useful, because once you've done, your keyword research and you've actually narrowed it down to some terms you like, then you can come over here and get forecasts, and you can kind of get an idea of what has maybe buyer potential. So that's something you should keep in mind also, especially for PPC. But it's also useful for SEO, because it can give you an idea of, what's going to be the most useful pages for your potential audience. You can see here that the click-through rate for this keyword is a little bit higher, not by much, but it's a little bit higher than some of these other ones. Although the impressions obviously are quite a bit less. So, and that's going to be something when you're looking at a large amount of data, it's useful to see that information, because you might be able to group together a large number of these longer tail keywords that have better click-through rates and or better prices, depending on, let's see, where's the CPC? Yeah, so apparently this one is, so these clicks are cheaper for this general term, but the click-through rate is actually lower on the total impressions. And this is also just sort of a broad term. So those are the kinds of things you need to take into consideration and keep in mind when you're looking at forecasts, right? Clearly, this generic term has a lot of weight to it. This generic term has a lot of weight to it. Plumbing services in general seems pretty promising. Let's see, what else is there? Plumbing supply, also pretty promising. But even though it's a little more expensive in the case of a service, it might be better to be more specific in targeting these cities in this fashion, because there's a better click-through rate, and it's more specific to those needs, to the nature of the query. Someone typing in here, I'm looking for a plumber in Fort Worth, Texas, and so on and so forth. So just a quick overview there of what of this tool and how it can be used. Really awesome, and really useful for creating, looking at, okay, here's what I need to do in order to be successful, because you may have a 2% click-through rate on, say, 50 impressions. So you may get a click from 50 impressions in a month for a particular term. Let's say that hypothetically we were able to, and this is not unlikely, by the way, let's say we were able to look to target 100 terms like this, where people are looking for different plumber variations in different city, geolocated, permutations or whatever, right? Well, let's say that the data was very similar, roughly 50 impressions from each of those things. So I'd whip my calculator out here and I'd go 50 impressions times 100 terms is roughly 5,000. So that's pretty similar to actually the general search volume on plumbing. So if I was able to get myself to a place where I was ranking for, or maybe even just doing PPC, right, for 100 different little small city type long tail keyword pages, then I might be able to bring in, 5,000 potential impressions from an ad or a group of ads, or maybe even SEO. Now that the SEO side is going to be a lot more difficult, of course, so don't get me wrong here, but I'm going through the motions here of projections, right? And let's say that it was roughly the same as this plumbing keyword, which is apparently about $200 a month at about 100 clicks. Let's just say that for the sake of the data in front of our face, with roughly a 2% CTR. And let's say that our conversion rate was like at 1%. So you're looking at, 100 clicks times 0.01. So obviously that's one sale. So that would be you can use this kind of data to give yourself an idea of, like, okay, if I'm going to spend $200 on, say, PPC, and I'm only going to generate maybe one sale a month from all these different keywords, right? Or, whatever, I'm going to spend $200 on someone sitting down and creating 100 different pages with 100 different pieces of content that are targeting these locations or whatever. Then I need to make sure that then what we're looking at in that situation is, and for SEO, you could even increase those projections, because it's $200 a month, right? Is what it is for PPC. So you could say, if I spend $200 a month for someone to take the time to get this done right, then I can expect to make one sale every month. And so that one sale needs to generate me more than $200 of profit, so that I can justify the time or the labor, or the PPC costs that I'm putting into this aspect of my strategy. So the forecast tool is pretty awesome, because it can really help you to be prudent in terms of your potential profitability. Okay. So I know I spent quite a bit of time on that, but I just wanted to go over that as a bonus here in the video. Let's go over to the find new keywords on that other page, though. When you go to the keyword planner, this is the main section. So keep that forecast tool in mind. Let's go over here to the keyword section. Let's stay with plumbing services. Let's not do plumbing services. Let me find a keyword. I have a list here that I am kind of going down. Let me grab one of these. My camera's probably about to disappear briefly. Give me just one moment to look at this list, and I'll find where I am, and I'll do an actual keyword research job from this list. So it looks like on my list I have come down to commercial air conditioning. Excuse me. I'm going to copy that from my list. I'm going to come over here to the keyword banner. Excuse me. I'm going to paste commercial air conditioning in and click get started. Pardon me. So back in the day, I used to basically have programs that came up with just tons and tons of seeds ideas. If you ever hear me refer to the term seeds, a seed is something that you can plug in a term like commercial air conditioner, and you can get a lot of different related terms in reply to that query. Okay, so in the past, I've been able to, in the years ago, collect thousands and tens of thousands of seeds, and even in the hundreds of thousands, and then scrub those lists and attempt to find rare opportunities and things like that. In my experience, that is a waste of time. The best way to do it nowadays, that saves you a lot of time and effort and gives you pretty much the same results, is by just doing exactly what is built into the keyword planner and being able to put up to 10 seeds and maybe a URL, and then just compiling it and putting it to use. On average, they say the average keyword research file will be between 2,500 and 3,000 or 5,000 keywords, probably on average around 3,000, depending on the niche. Okay, and that's a lot. And most people are not really gonna get through all those terms, but that's the goal. If you're able to get through all those terms and cover your bases, I mean, you are unique in any space. So we're at commercial air conditioner. We're sorted by keyword relevance. So let's look for some terms with a little more volume. Are we still targeting Fort Worth? We're targeting Arlington, Texas, and Fort Worth. Let's make sure we're targeting the U.S. in this case. For the forecast, I wanted to target a specific location. But in this case, I want to target the U.S. because all of my generic keyword research is targeting the United States as a whole. The U.S. is the most influential English-speaking country, and with 300 million some odd population. So it's better to target your generic keyword research at the national level so that you can kind of see the big picture. But obviously, if you're doing local SEO for a specific area or, say, a conglomerate of cities, then you're going to want to target those specific locations. So commercial air conditioner, let's take a look here. Commercial HVAC, let's go ahead and grab that. So you just copy the term and then come up here to this bar and paste it, and then do comma space. You can also just hit enter. So it looks like HVAC system. So in this case, because of the nature of my keyword being commercial, I don't want to target anything too broad. I want my terms to be commercially oriented, but I want to look for things with a lot of search volume, but that are still relevant to my terms. So at times I may sort by search volume. At times I may continue to sort by keyword relevance. Let's do commercial HVAC companies. We got commercial HVAC in general. Then we got commercial HVAC companies. So that's more specific to the companies we're looking for. Commercial heating, AC and heating unit, ductless air conditioner, ductless heating and cooling. Let's go ahead and do a filter for commercial. You don't have to do this, but in some cases, it can help you to stay on target. Commercial. So I only want to see the terms with commercial. Let's go ahead and sort from Z to A here on average monthly searches. Commercial HVAC, commercial cooler, commercial air conditioner, commercial cool portable. Okay, no, that's well, maybe. Let's do that. I'm going to triple click this. Control C, Control V. So this is portable air conditioner. So that has a lot of search volume, and that's why I went ahead and did that one too. Companies, cool air conditioner, portable air conditioner. Commercial cooling and heating, or heating and cooling. Let's do that one. That's a little bit broad. Linux, commercial AC unit, commercial air conditioning repair. So that's our term is a little bit generic, commercial air conditioning, right? And so, Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah. So anything related to commercial air conditioning in general, and in this case, commercial air conditioning repair is related. So it depends on the nature of your keyword research job. Obviously, if your brand or your asset doesn't do repair, then you're not going to include it. But in the event that someone wanting to buy my commercial air conditioning keyword research may be interested in that, it's I have to be a little more broad in my keyword research jobs. You know, obviously, I want to be specific to the core term, but broad enough that people interested in that in general are going to be catered to. So I know I'm just trying to explain this as best as possible. Okay. Commercial HVAC repair. Let's do this one also. Commercial HVAC contractors. That's a good one. Companies. Commercial air conditioning service. Let's try the installation keyword. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's do one more. Rooftop, that's different. Maintenance. Furnace. Okay. We're getting low on the search volume here, so we don't want to get too obscure. Let's try this rooftop HVAC units. That seems like a high-ticket item that would be useful. So we've got 10 keywords in there, so we've got our warning here. Now, we could put a URL, but in this case, I don't really want to do that. I just want to keep it broad. So I'm just going to put those terms. I'm going to do a search, and I'm going to turn the filter off for the word commercial. So let's kill this filter. So it looks like we got 2,600 keyword ideas, roughly 2,700. I'm going to go ahead and click this to select, and then click select all. So now they're all selected. And I'm going to download keyword ideas. So that was pretty close to 3,000. That's about average. So give me a moment to create a folder here for this particular keyword research job. Commercial air conditioning. Give me just a second. I'm going to make the folder, and then I'm going to do USA for this targeting folder. And then in that folder, I'm going to put keyword research for commercial air conditioning from the USA in English. Give me just a second. All right. So the way that I used to do it is I used to have to collect a variety of searches for individual seeds, because the way that Google Ads used to work, it did not compile the data in the past like it does now. And so now you can just include your seeds here, and they automatically scrub for duplicates and all that business. In the past, I used to have to compile and scrub myself, and I had different processes for doing that, and programs and little commands and things like that. So it's a lot easier now. And let's go ahead and create a file here. So let me open up my keyword research template. This is a free template that I provide to the public. I recently had to update it because they added a new column. Whenever Google changes something in their export, this template has to be updated. So if something breaks, you might just have to kind of fix it yourself. Or, hopefully I'll catch that and fix it in due time. Let's give it a second to load. It's taking a real long time. Okay. So let's go up to File, make a copy. And I want to make a copy of this into the right place. I use a variety of team drives through G Suite. And so I have a team drive specifically for keyword research. Let me make a new folder. We'll call this Commercial Air Conditioning. Enter. Select that folder and call this Keyword Research for Commercial Air Conditioning. The majority of the time, actually, in keyword research is probably the formatting, staying organized, and all that business. I do things at volume, of course, so if you're just doing this for your own business, it's not going to take you much time. But looks like it's frozen. Give it a second. There it goes. Let's make sure. Okay. Let's click OK here. And it opened in another tab, so give me a second. I've got to transfer it to the recording tab. Here we go. Taking forever. Okay, so once it's finally loaded in, it's taking longer because I guess I have tabs open and I'm recording a video, so apologies for that. Let's select this cell. So you want to select the first. Actually, before we do that, something I do now is I delete extra columns before importing, and it loads a lot faster. So I'm going to find somewhere around this 3,000 mark, because I remember it was only somewhere around 2,700. And you can always delete the rest when you load it. I'm going to click on that row, and I'm going to hold Shift and click down here to the bottom. And it'll take a little bit to register. And I'm going to right-click, delete all of these extra rows. And if you need to add other sheets to this keyword research file in the future, basically you can go to the template and you can copy those to another tab or whatever. Or I think you can import to another tab too. And I've done it before. Basically, it'll come down here. As you can see, there's the keyword highlights tab and the help tab. And the help tab has a lot of information on keyword research columns in this file and all that business. So you're welcome to check all that out for a little glossary. So anyways, if you do other countries, other specific cities, you can import the template into another sheet down here. Okay, so let's go back to the top. Excuse me, let's select that first cell, go to File, Import, Upload, select a file from your computer. Give me a moment here. I need to find it. Here it is. So you just want to find that CSV that we saved from Google Ads earlier. And you want to do replace data at selected cell and then import data. It's taking a long time to process. Give it a second. There it goes. So the first thing you want to do is scroll to the bottom and delete all those extra rows that you're not using. All right. Shift click, right click, delete rows. So in order to do, basically you can keep what you want, exclude what you don't want, but the formatting will not work if you don't do it manually. It won't work properly. So there's all these different formulas built into cells for different columns I've created and different conditional formatting for different columns and what have you. I don't do things manually anymore. I use a macro, and you can come up here to tools and you can see where you can create your own macro. You can record a macro where you can basically go in and delete the same things. But anyways, you can kind of load your own script nowadays using this, and I will include that for you guys so you can use my script, macro script, in your keyword research. And this saves a lot of time. Let me go and find it real quick. Let me see where I don't think I even bookmarked it. Give me a moment. Oh yeah, here it is. So there are different ways to use it, I think, but what I'm going to show you all how to do is, is just copy paste it. So I'll give you the macro code basically, and all you got to do is go to tools. So don't mess with any of this stuff before you do this, because the macro will actually deal with it on its own. You want to delete the empty rows at the bottom, of course, but don't do anything else, because let the macro do it. Excuse me. So under tools, you go to script editor, and it'll open a script project file untitled for this specific sheet. And then what you'll do is, you can't see this because I'm off screen, so bear with me. You'll Control A, select everything in that area, and then paste the script in there. You'll name the project. I like to name mine random letters because at the end I delete it. And then you save it. You do Control S to save the project. I leave it open because I delete it later. Then I come over here to Tools, and I go to Macros. I go to Import, and then I import that project that I just created for that specific sheet. And then I go to Tools, and I go to Macros, and I click on Step 1, and it asks for permission to run. So you've got to give it permission here, allow it, and you'll see it's running. And once it stops lagging, it actually goes pretty quickly. So if you're not lagging like I am right now, then it will be pretty fast. And when it's done, it'll say finished. So just leave it alone. So bam, that's finished. And as you can see, I delete a variety of extra columns that take up a lot of room. So I recommend that. Then go back to Tools once it's finished. Go to Macros and go to Step 2. And what this will do is make sure it will add all of the correct formulas to the various columns, and it'll sort the data and all this business. And so this macro is really just a step-by-step of the things that are done manually. It takes a lot longer to do it manually, like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, or just depends on how fast the sheet responds. But as you can see, it took me less than a minute to do this using the macro. So that's really nice. And, it's not loaded yet. So let's you see the buffering time up here. Let's give it a second to load so we can make sure that all of these formulas are in here properly. When you see something funny going on, it's usually because Google has changed the columns that it exports in its data. It's really annoying, and I really wish that they didn't do that, because they will often do it in a way that is completely unnecessary. And it would be nice if you could actually customize that data, and I'm sure there's just maybe a way that that's possible, but I'm not really sure because I've never looked before. Looks like the formulas are working, and now it's populating the conditional formatting, all the color coding, and all that business. So basically, this keyword research is finished. And in this time, however long this has been, obviously the lag is a problem, but it usually takes less time for me to do keyword research. But let's say on average, like, you go through this stuff, it could take you 30 minutes, to do your own keyword research. And now I have, roughly 2,700 terms for the commercial air conditioning space, and then I can use this article writing system over here to plan my articles. And so make sure to check out this help tab and the video in there to see more about planning articles and assigning numbers and all this process of doing all that stuff. And that's pretty much it. So now you're ready to use this keyword research to plan your content, create pages. And you can also use this keyword research in PPC plans. You don't have to use that article section for actually writing articles. You could use that article section for planning your PPC ad groups if you wanted to do paid advertising and keep track of here are the campaigns that I'm running. So that's basically it, guys. I appreciate you watching, and I will catch you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.